Hey, John Kavakas here, and this is another edition of My Take. And I want to talk to you a little bit about stamp. You know, we've had a trickle of product coming out of China, but they're starting to come through now. I've got some here. These models have been out for a while, but they haven't been readily available. Only a few dealers have had them, some over in Europe and that sort of thing. But they're starting to show up here stateside. And I want to talk to you about them because there's a lot of stuff coming. So today we're going to talk about Stamp's 1969 L88 Corvette Stingray. Now, there are very few nameplates that evoke the images that Corvette does. It was an amazing legacy of being America's only sports car. And that started back in the early 50s. Now, you know, in the late 40s, early 50s, servicemen were coming home from overseas. Over there, they experienced and fell in love with small, nimble cars, usually with small engines as well. And they were looking for that. That led to a whole cottage industry over here, mostly out on the West Coast, but there's some on the East Coast as well that were taking modified chassis, putting American engines in them, and custom bodies and that sort of thing. That boomed for a little while, but General Motors decided that they wanted to get into the act in 1953. So in 1952, they introduced the 1953 Corvette, internally labeled the C1. A beautiful car, very European looking, had the wire headlight covers and that sort of thing. But it was grossly underpowered for how heavy it was, and it was kind of a heavy car. So 1953, 1954, sales were not all that great. General Motors wasn't quite sure what they were going to do with them. Chevy wanted a halo car, but they just weren't selling many. And then Chevy heard that Ford was coming out with a new sporty type car, the 1955 Thunderbird. Now, the Thunderbird was never meant to be a sports car. It was more of a boulevard cruiser, but this car was going to have a V8. So in 1955, Chevy dropped the V8 into the Corvette and everything changed. Now, they didn't make many of them in 1955. There was a huge backlog of 54s sitting on dealer lots, so they only made about 700 of the 55 models. But in 1956, there was a variety of V8s, a little bit of a new body, a little bit of a new look. It looked a lot more modern. Had the coves on the side, which became a trademark for a long time, and they were off to the races. They just never looked back after 1956. Now, that model stayed in production all the way through 1962. There were upgrades to the suspension, upgrades to the body, upgrades to the interior. But in late 1962, they came out with the C2, the 1963 Corvette, and this car was absolutely stunning. Had the split rear window that went away after the first year, but it was sleek, it was voluptuous, it looked continental, it looked American at the same time. And through its 4-year run, they only made it for 4 years, it had a wide variety of engines. 1967, you could get the 427 in it. Now, while they were selling the C2, there was a show car making the circuit called the Mako Shark. Now, this car was really radical, very, very curvy, ducktail rear end, and nobody ever thought it had a chance of making production because it was just too radical. But in 1968, that's exactly what Chevrolet offered, the 1968 Stingray. And it wasn't exactly the Mako Shark, but it looked a lot like the Mako Shark. It was a lot more practical, and it was absolutely stunningly beautiful. It set the world on fire. America had entered the world stage with the 1968 Corvette. Now, it took a long time for them to actually emerge onto it, but that 1968 Corvette was absolutely beautiful. Now, they had some quality problems in 1968, but sales were good. Reception on the new design was fantastic. And it carried over into 1969. In 1969, you could get the L88, the 427 engine, V8 engine, with side pipes, with heavy-duty brakes, with heavy-duty suspension. This was a car made for the strip, made for the road course, not made for the street. It took a high-octane gas that you couldn't buy at gas stations. It had no air conditioning. It had no radio. It was made to be a driver's car. 427. Now, this 427 had a reported 430 horsepower, but there were several magazines that figured out the horsepower had to be somewhere between 550 580. It was an absolute monster. It was a brute, and it was one of the fastest cars in the world at the time. Now, Stamp has given this to us in 3 different colors and several different configurations. Now, here are the colors. I'll show you pictures of each one. There's the Le Mans Blue with the open T-tops and the closed headlights. There's also a version with closed T-tops and open headlights. There is Monza Red with open T-tops and closed headlights, and another version with closed T-tops and open lights. There's also Riverside Gold Metallic. Now this one only comes with the open T-tops. Legacy Diecast has a limited edition of 70 in all black with closed T-tops and closed headlights. So it's a unique configuration. And if you want one of those, you're going to have to move quickly. Legacy has them $129.95 plus shipping. And like I said, they might be available at some other dealers and everything. If you want to check your prices, we're still trying to figure out what the tariffs are doing to prices, but they seem to be settling down to right around the normal price, and I'm hoping that that's how it's going to be for the future. But I'm eager to get these things out of the box and show them to you. They're absolutely beautiful. Stamp has done a great job on them. Let's take a close look at them. Okay, we'll take a look at the Le Mans Blue first. Kind of an iconic color. 68 is when it came into its own. The factory finish was really great. This finish on the Stamp model just shimmers. It is over the top beautiful. And I just love the fact that they've given all these configurations. I'd like to see removable T-tops, but that might be asking just a little bit too much. They've done a great job representing the headlights up, T-tops off, that sort of thing. Beautiful. Next one is the Monza Red. Same 2 configurations, headlights up, T-tops on, headlights down, T-tops off. Great detail on the side pipes, the wheels. We'll get some close-ups on those in just a second. But again, I just want to mention the finish. This is just incredible. You have to see it in person to see it. I think the lights have caught it well, though. And here's the Riverside Gold. Again, that shimmering finish. But we're going to take a look at some of the detail. Take a look at this interior. It's kind of hard to see because it's all black, but I'll tell you, the instruments, the steering wheel, the console, all of the switches on the console, really expertly rendered. Great job on the interior. Didn't have a lot of options, but what it did have, they have replicated beautifully. Here's some of that detail on the side pipes, the wheels, and the vents. Look at those vents. They look like you could go all the way through to the engine. Great wheels, great wheel centers, raised white letter tires, and those side pipes are really well picked out. Looking at the rear of the car, you can see everything is beautifully rendered. Once again, badging is fantastic. Lensing, the proportions, I mean, the look of that 68 Corvette just been captured expertly. And here's the look from the front end. From any angle, this thing, the fidelity on this model is just amazing. It has the character, it has the feel of the 1.1. Take a look at the grille, there's depth there. That hood scoop is beautifully rendered. The badging, again, is just a beautiful, beautiful model. One last peek at the Riverside Gold. I think Stamp has done something really amazing here. This level of detail at this price is just unprecedented, and I'm really excited for what's coming down the line. There they are, stunning finishes. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job on the paint. The details are incredible. I mean, you got to get really close on these before you can tell this is a model, closer than I can get with the camera. So, well-detailed interior, fantastic wheels. The side pipes are very well picked out. And you know what? The price seems to be holding. So if you want one of these, you're going to have to move quickly. They're selling out quickly as soon as they show up. People have been getting them shipped from Europe and paying a lot of money for shipping. Now you can buy them domestically. I hope you can find one in the color that you like. Hey, thanks for taking a look at the video. If you liked it, give me a like down there in the right-hand corner. Love to have you as a subscriber. The channel keeps on growing, and I've got more models that I want to talk to you about. I'll be back again real soon. Thanks for tuning in.